Hey everyone, John Hendrix here, coming at you with another episode of The Drive, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook here on Boot Crew Media. It's Thursday, second Saints injury report has dropped, second straight day we don't see Jameis Winston or Michael Thomas practicing or at practice. Obviously, this is not a good indication for their availability for this weekend. Things can obviously change. Referencing what Dennis Allen had talked about on Wednesday, that Thomas has a toe injury. He's working to get himself back on the field, but there's no timetable for that, right? So that's the first thing. And as far as Jameis Winston goes, dealing with the back and the ankle injury. And for those who didn't know, it's also a lingering thing that is from training camp. If you don't remember, he had hurt his ankle there. So he's also in the rehabbing process, and their focus is obviously making sure that he gets healthy. So we could see Andy Dalton again. I think it's a pretty good chance that we do see Andy Dalton on Sunday against the Seahawks inside the Superdome. And look, I think Dalton did pretty well in his first outing. Obviously would want to have the fumble back, and I think he was pretty efficient. Chris Olave was a very good target of his, a very familiar target. You'll have Jarvis Landry back in the lineup. Marquez Callaway looked pretty good overall, and then you got Traquan Smith. So, I think they'll be okay as far as things go, that they definitely need some offense there. You should get Andres Pete back in the lineup. He was a full participant in practice and missed some time last week due to a concussion. So they don't have PJ Williams. So hopefully Marcus May, he was limited today. Hopefully he's back in the lineup. He's dealing with that rib injury, but for the most part, the Saints are in a pretty decent spot going into this weekend. Alvin Kamara, we talked about it yesterday. He's expected to play in this game. It would be shocking if he doesn't. And so, he's going to be a lot more featured role. And I think that's something that we really want to see, is how Andy Dalton handles this offense with a guy like Alvin Kamara in the mix. And so guys like Adam Troutman had some of their biggest moments of the season last week against the Vikings. But very important game for the Saints, 1-3. Again, the team has not given up, abandoned hope, or feel sorry for themselves. A lot of them talked about, look, they've been beating themselves on a lot of this stuff. And so the need for the turnaround is there. But we'll get one more look at the injury report on Friday, which will give us our game designations. Again, I don't think we'll see Jameis Winston or Michael Thomas in this one, but never say never. But I think when you look at a 17-game season and reading through the tea leaves that Dennis Allen has dropped a good bit, is that they want them for the long haul. And so you start slow, you got to pick up a few things. I think this team can do it, but they have to go out and execute and stop beating themselves with turnovers and costly penalties. Again, we talked about this being sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, you can use the promo code BOOT to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any type of football game. That's code BOOT, B-O-O-T, only at DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. Stepped up same game parlays. If there's something you want to look at, Thursday night action, going to be interesting right now with the Colts down Jonathan Taylor. But if you look at Sunday, maybe feel like swinging something like an Andy Dalton over under on passing yards, or add in some Alvin Kamara stuff or some Chris Olave. He's been a very familiar target for the Saints, leading them in targets and receiving yards for the past several games. That's going to do it for another episode of The Drive here on Boot Crew Media. I'm John Hendrix, reporting from, New Orleans. How about that? Have a good one, guys. We'll talk at you again tomorrow.